They're trying to look out for the knockout here in this first half.
Obviously, no lead safe. Both teams going to continue to fight to the buzzer.
A 20-point fourth quarter for Karl Anthony Towns.
He hit some threes, got to the rim, played great down the stretch.
They were down 2-0, but go on the road down by 20 and win coming from behind.
This is a great team win, but we got to be better than we were tonight if we expect to find a way to get another win.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on this Memorial Day as we honor all our fallen heroes and their loved ones for their sacrifice. I speak for the entire team at First Take. We cannot thank you enough. And as you saw, I am crewed up today per usual. Stephen A., Markieff and Markieff Morris in the house, and the Knicks are in the mix. Gentlemen, how are we feeling this morning?
Great. Can't complain.
Great to have you guys back. S.A., I know you're in a good mood.
I'm in a very good mood. I mean, it's beautiful. And by the way, I'm in Minneapolis right now for Game 4 tonight between the Wolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I must say, this is a place that I usually avoid because I'm not down with the cold, fellas. I'm not down with the cold. I'm over that, okay? But it's not cold right now in Minneapolis, so I'm all right. I'm okay.
Yeah, I heard it's a good time.
Yeah, the weather changing over there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's dive right in. The New York Knicks season was on the ropes as they entered the final quarter, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals Sunday night. Then Karl Anthony Towns came to life, scoring 20 points in the fourth, matching Indiana's entire output in that quarter and doing just enough until Jalen Brunson hit a tie-breaking 12-foot floater with 1:17 left to give New York a lead for good. Here's Kat and Jalen after a much-needed win.
I think this team has shown grittiness all year. Detroit series, Boston series. Tonight was a night we got to show that kind of never say quit attitude, and it's a testament to everyone in that locker room.
The biggest part of our comeback and everything was, we could quickly start to point fingers. We can quickly start to just turn on each other. But we got together as a team, and we made sure that everyone was encouraging each other and making sure that it's not over. We got to keep fighting, keep chipping away, and we did that. And I'm just proud from the way we responded. Yeah, we needed it.
New York's enjoying this morning's headline. Here's the front page of the New York Post. Chokes on them. S.A., the Knicks were down by 20 at one point. Was this game more about a Knicks comeback or a Pacers collapse?
Well, I'm going to say it was more about a Knicks comeback because even though Nesmith went down, and that obviously compromises the Indiana Pacers, the fact is that the New York Knicks didn't look good at all. They were down 20 in the first half. They didn't seem to have any kind of cohesion whatsoever. I got to give a boatload of credit to a few people, though. Number one, Karl Anthony Towns was absolutely sensational, particularly in the fourth quarter with his 20 points. He just showed up and showed out and answered the call with Jalen Brunson on the bench. Remember, Jalen Brunson had picked up 4 fouls in the first half. And you were just saying to yourself, what the hell are they going to do now? I want to give some love to the McBrides of the world who came in and subbed for Jalen Brunson. Mitchell Robinson, who obviously made his presence felt. That was important because they needed that desperately as well. And I got to give a lot of love to Tom Thibodeau for going against what we know. Kenny Smith for TNT had, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest line of the postseason when he said that Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to play he wouldn't want to play 9 guys in a baseball game. That's who he is, okay? But yet and still, he played them last night and he utilized his bench. And I got to give a lot of love for Tom Thibodeau to going against the grain, to doing the kind of thing that a Ty Lue would do, that an Eric Spoelstra would do, along with other great coaches. He answered the call last night as a head coach, and I got to give credit where credit is due. Now, the New York Knicks held them 1 of 8 shooting from 3 in the fourth quarter, outscored them 36-20. We get that. But utilizing their bench, Karl Anthony Towns being aggressive, those two components really, really boded well for the New York Knicks. So I'm going to say this is more about them fellas as opposed to the Pacers, who obviously was compromised with Nesmith going down for a little while when he twisted his ankle. He came back, but he clearly wasn't the same, and he's a guy that's assigned to shadow Brunson. But Brunson wasn't in the game for the most part when the New York Knicks were making this run, and that's why I'm going to give more credit to the Knicks as opposed to the Pacers, down to the Pacers in this particular instance.
Markieff, where are you on this?
I'm with SA on this one. The Knicks have came back before down 20 in the playoffs, so it's nothing new to them. I think early in the game, with the adjustment that Tibbs made, I think they was trying to find it, so they really couldn't score. You know, starting Mitchell Robinson, the floor was really shrank. Cat couldn't really get it going, couldn't play from all three levels. And the guys came off the bench, they did a great job. But if you ask me, I don't think Tibbs wanted to do that. I think he was forced to do that. You know, McBride came in the game, he had 3 fouls in 1 minute. Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble the entire first half, and so was Cat. So you were more so forced into it, but it was the thing that stood out to me was, if we saying that Tibbs did this, it's because he's trying to follow the motto of the Indiana Pacers, right? The first quarter, by the time it was 12 minutes left in the second quarter, Indiana had 8 players that scored in that game already. They were basically dominating them in the second quarter. If Cat and McBride doesn't have that great fourth quarter that they had, this is a different conversation, and the Pacers run off with that win last night.
Marcus?
I got to agree with both of y'all, but I think, you know, we looked at Cat performance, but also what we failed to realize is that Pacers had 1 assist in the fourth quarter. Like, the time that it meant the most, they weren't able to deliver. Part of that, Jalen Brunson went down, right? So they couldn't actually find a person to hunt out on defense. And they just took a step back thinking that the game was over. Cat put on a great performance. The spacing was the best we've seen in the fourth quarter, not having JB in there, not having Big Mitchell Robinson in there. And listen, I think they're a better team on the road, which is crazy to say, but how good Madison Square Garden is to play as a player in the playoffs. They've been better on the road. So they're really never out of any of these games, technically.
The Knicks rotation in Game 3, do you feel like this was Tibbs actually trusting his bench or just a coincidence of New York being in foul trouble?
No, Markieff was right. I mean, it was obviously a coincidence of him being in foul trouble, but the fact is that still in all, he went deeper than normally he would. And so when you look at a Delon Wright, when you look at a Shamet coming in the game, and you see the contributions they were made, you got to give credit where credit is due. A McBride, who had 9 points in the steal in the second half, you got to give him a lot of credit as well. It was more about guys that haven't been a part of the rotation at all, getting no playing time whatsoever, coming in and answering the call. And that's why I'm looking at it. Yeah, he couldn't help himself, but in the same breath, ultimately those guys ended up producing. You got to give them some credit because they appeared ready when they came into the game. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. OG Anunoby hit a couple of big-time threes. Mikal Bridges showed up as well. I'm just looking at them from the standpoint that guys that you never see contributing answered the call when they needed to answer the call. And they looked like a team last night from the coaching on down to the players. And that's what I was happy about. Now, it's Game 3. Indiana's been 0-3 in Game 3s, okay? But then they win in Games 4 and a Game 5. So, again, this is just one game. We're going to find out what the Knicks are made of now that you have an opportunity to tie it up. I'm not foolish here. I'm not a Cowboy fan, one of them nauseating, disgusting, delusional fan bases. No, I'm a realist, okay? So I understand that if you are the Knicks, if you're a Knicks fan, you can't get caught up in it. It was one game. They were down 20. They were really lucky and fortunate to pull this one out. But they got to answer the call. They got to answer the call in Game 4. Otherwise, this will be over in 6.
Back to the bench thing, Stephen A. I think, you know, obviously they played one more extra person. The adjustment was not playing campaign and playing Delon Wright. I think that was the key to it. Right. More defensive guard, not really looking for a shot, but looking to lock up Hollenberg, looking to lock up Nembhard. I think that was more so the adjustment. Larry Shaman came in the game. He was like the kind of extra person that, you know, that we haven't seen. And we haven't seen Delon Wright neither, but that was the adjustment from not playing campaign. And, yeah, man, just having older, it shows you just having older guys that's been in there. It doesn't matter when you put them in the game. Just put them in the game, and you'll see a difference.
Marcus?
I got to go with it. I still don't believe that Tibbs had too much to really do in this situation. For a second, I thought he was waving a white flag. I'm going to just be honest. I was like, Shaman hasn't played yet. Delon Wright hasn't played yet. Like, what are you looking to get from these guys, right? But you got in that position where you had to play them, and they were vets. They've been here before, and they contribute to the win. But even with those guys playing, Karl Anthony Towns was the catalyst for you to come back and win this game. Like, those guys did really well, but Cat really took it upon himself to have a magical fourth quarter, which got them back in the game. And if Jalen Brunson wasn't in foul trouble, would Cat have had that space to be able to do that, right? Like to be able to have the ball in his hand. So I think there's a lot of components that played a part in this.
Right.
But obviously, Tibbs did give those guys a chance. And I've been speaking about this all season about just playing 5 guys. I've never been a fan of that. And you've seen Indiana that's actually doing well with playing their entire team. OKC doing well with playing 9, 10 guys. I think all he needed to do was take a page out of somebody else's book. But as a player, you need confidence. Like, you need to know that your coach is confident in putting you in the game. And I just think yesterday, you know, it might have looked like he went deeper in his bench, but it really was Cat.
Real quick, Stephen A., before you jump in terms of them playing more players when you're referring to OKC and Indy, is that just because they have better rosters?
No. I think it's just a scheme. Thibodeau always done this. He's always played 5 to 6 guys all the time, and I've never agreed with it. I've always felt as though you need a team and guys that you can call on, even if they might not play a lot during the season. You need a team, and just in case of injury, if anything happened, that somebody's confident enough to come in and at least fill a little bit of that void.
Stephen A.?
That's why I applauded Kenny Smith for what he said. I said it's the lineup of the postseason. The man wouldn't want to play 9 guys in a baseball game. You got to play 9. You know what I'm saying? 9 guys got to be on the field, and he would begrudge that because that's who Tibbs is, and that's been the one Achilles heel against him. But the flip side to it is that even though he had to play these guys, again, you talked about the change between Wright as opposed to Campaign. That's number 1. Number 2, there is something to be said about cats being ready and being prepared to go. So, again, it shows that maybe, just maybe, you know, he's doing what he was supposed to be doing as a coach in terms of making sure they were prepped and ready to go. But it also points to how inexcusable it has been for him to limit himself to 6-man rotations, et cetera, et cetera. Thank God he didn't do that. One of the other nuggets that we got to point out here, I'm looking at McBride. Did y'all know he's a team high, a plus 25 in the conference finals when he's on the court? And Mikal Bridges is a team worse, minus 20. Okay? So I'm looking at stuff like this, and I'm saying not to take Mikal Bridges out of the game or anything like that. We know how valuable he is, but he's got to up his game defensively, number 1. Number 2, and more importantly, if you got cats that can come off the bench and produce for you, your Tibbs, you have to pay attention to that and have more faith in them, especially in the first half, so we don't find ourselves in a situation where Jalen Brunson has to be on the bench for an inordinate amount of minutes because you let him get 4 fouls in the first half. And we know how nervous I was when Cat had 4 because Cat is not as disciplined defensively as a few others. Even Brunson, who gets targeted. Cat found he got away with a no call, you know, when he jumped in. I think it was to Siakam. He could have easily got called for that and didn't get called for it. So it's those kind of things that make me nervous. But ultimately, they answered the call last night like they were supposed to. What are you going to do in Game 4? You win Game 4, now you've regained control of this series.
Listen, the Pacers is not a great team. They're a good team and they're well, you know, put together. But as we've been seeing, going up 20 in the past, great teams are putting this game away. None of these teams that are left are great teams. Anything can happen. I would say.
Even OKC?
Yeah, I think they were a great team on paper. Like as far as like their system, as far as like being really good on defense, right? Like that's great about them. But when we talk about great team, we talking about like the Golden State Warriors, we talking about the Boston Celtics, like we talking about teams like that, right? Like that's been proven, that's lost, that's been back to that mountaintop. But I just always feel like the Knicks still have a chance, and they're 6-1 on the road. I have to keep going back to that. Like they're 6 on the road. They know how to win on the road. Yes, it may be ugly, and yes, they may have to go down 20 first to wake up, but they have a great chance of winning the series still.
You think the Pacers blow this?
I don't. I actually think the Pacers are going to win this series. Obviously, you know, they were winning the entire game last game. They were winning the entire game until that fall off in the fourth quarter when Cat had to be miraculous and basically carry the team. I don't. But to piggyback off the great teams, I don't think there are any great teams left. I think that the numbers will show something different because of the era of basketball we're in. OKC is a great defensive team, but when you look on the East, there is no way that guys are up 20 at home and losing. That teams are up 20. Great teams don't do that. So with that being said, even though I do like the Indiana Pacers, anybody could win this series.
Stephen A., do you believe the Pacers are going to blow this? And then I want to get your thoughts also on the sentiment that there's no great teams left.
Well, listen, I picked the Knicks to win this series in 7 games. A lot of people were getting on me because they thought that the Knicks would take Indiana out in 5 or 6. I knew Indiana was a better team than people were giving them credit for. They don't have anybody that you can say definitively is great, but they have a lot of really, really, really good players. Nembhard and Neesmith and these brothers can play. Tyrese Halliburton is not overrated. This brother can play. Miles Turner can play. And Rick Carlisle is exceptionally well coached. And T.J. McConnell, the little engine that could. That's what I call him. You know, I knew him from his days in Philadelphia. I love the kid. He's got a lot of guts. He's not scared of the moment. He shows up and he gives you what he can. So they have a plethora of players that show up and get the job done. And they can shoot the basketball. And so when you look at it from that standpoint and you see how limited the Knicks have appeared to be because of Tibbs' refusal to utilize a rotation. And then you couple that with Rick Carlisle and his championship pedigree, knowing how to use an abundance of parts, having 11 different guys that have averaged at least 15 minutes a game this past regular season. You just say to yourself, yo, they can beat the Knicks. But again, if you're the Knicks, because of how tough you can be defensively, because of Jalen Brunson, because of Karl Anthony Towns averaging over 30 against them during the regular season on better than 50% shooting, you do look at the Knicks and say, you had them game 1. You were up 17 with 6 minutes left, up 14 with 2:50 left, up 9 with 52 seconds left. You lost that game. It should be 2-1. Knicks right now instead of the other way around. So I have no reason to believe that the Knicks can't win this series. I just know they got to play better than they have, particularly in fourth quarters of 2 of the 3 games.
Yeah.
Knicks in 7, baby. Knicks in 7.
Knicks in 7? What's your prediction?
Indians
I hope you're right.
6.
Indy in 6? All right.